In 1922, deep in the Himalayas, an isolated monastery was stormed by a small team of British explorers under the guise of archaeology. But what they uncovered wasn't gold, scrolls, or forgotten relics. It was something infinitely more valuable and infinitely more dangerous. A single carved tablet describing a breathing sequence so exact, so neurologically potent, that it could rewire human consciousness in less than 10 minutes. The monks called it the breath of 111 gates. And what happened next explains why this knowledge vanished from the public eye for over a century. Because if humanity had known what these monks discovered, entire power structures, religious, political, and economic, would have collapsed overnight. Here's what you were never meant to know. Your breath isn't just oxygen, it's a neural switch, a direct interface with your brain's manifestation circuitry. While the world has told you that transformation requires endless meditation retreats, decades of therapy, or expensive self-help programs, the truth is this. The ancients had already engineered a precise neurological hack hidden in plain sight. The 111 breath wasn't mystical poetry. It was biological engineering, a sequence designed to stimulate neuroplasticity so profound that it reshapes the prefrontal cortex in real time. And here's the disturbing part. They buried it. Because a population who can consciously rewire their inner architecture no longer buys into fear. They no longer crave external approval. They no longer remain controllable. Let me show you what's happening under your skull when you breathe with precision. The vagus nerve, the superhighway of consciousness, links your brainstem with your lungs, gut, and heart. Breathing in specific patterns sends precise electrical commands through this network, flipping your nervous system from survival mode into creation mode. And modern science is finally catching up. fMRI scans now show that controlled breathing can boost gamma brainwaves by up to 700%. Gamma, the brain's highest frequency, is linked with expanded awareness, unity states, and what neuroscientists call binding consciousness, the exact moment when scattered neural networks lock into sync and rewrite reality itself. But the 111 technique goes further. It unlocks the reticular activating system, your brain's filter of perception. For most people, that filter is warped by fear and trauma, deciding which version of reality they see. The monks discovered that this breath can reprogram that filter, opening dormant pathways and restoring childlike clarity. Stop right now. Take 3 casual breaths. Notice that shallow pattern? That's the breath of survival. That's the breath that traps you in repetition, looping the same version of reality. But imagine if every inhale and exhale was wired to upgrade your brain's operating system. Imagine what becomes possible. The tablets the explorers found carried a single inscription. 3 gates, 1 breath, infinite worlds. And now, after decades of neuroscience, we finally understand its precision. Here's the sequence. Phase 1, the ignition. Inhale for a count of 4. Draw energy from the base of your spine to the crown. This activates the sympathetic nervous system, releasing norepinephrine, fuel for focus and awakening. Hold for 4 counts, directing awareness to the space between your eyebrows, where the pineal gland releases the molecules of expanded states, melatonin, DMT, and beyond. Phase 2, the release. Exhale for 8 counts, longer out than in. This flips the nervous system into parasympathetic mode, flooding your circuits with GABA, the neurotransmitter of deep calm and receptive focus. In this moment, you're not just releasing air, you're clearing outdated neural codes. Phase 3. The gateway. Hold empty for 2 counts. This tiny window drops your brain into theta waves, the dream state of meditation, hypnosis, and subconscious reprogramming. That's one cycle. Repeat it exactly 111 times. And here's the revelation. On the 111th breath, something extraordinary happens. The default mode network, the cluster of brain regions tied to self-identity and limiting beliefs, temporarily shuts down. For a few luminous moments, you are free. You're no longer thinking yourself into change. You are breathing yourself into a new reality. And now science confirms what the monks intuited. Harvard researchers have shown that breathwork directly alters gene expression, switching on DNA linked to regeneration, stress resilience, and sharper cognition. MRI scans reveal structural brain changes after just weeks of practice. But the 1-1-1 technique? It accelerates those changes in days, not months. Because your breath isn't moving just air, it's moving information. Every inhale is a download from the quantum field. Every exhale, a purge of obsolete programming. And the silent pause in between, that's where the impossible becomes possible. The monks understood something that physicists would only confirm years later: the observer effect. Consciousness doesn't just witness reality, it shapes it. When your breath synchronizes your brain, heart, and cells into singular resonance, you stop broadcasting noise into the field and start transmitting coherence. And reality listens. This is why affirmations alone fail. Why vision boards sit collecting dust. If your nervous system vibrates in chaos, your intentions scatter. The 111 breath aligns every layer of your being into one signal, one vibration, one command to the field. And in that state, you don't wish for change. You become change. Experiments at the Institute of Noetic Sciences reveal that coherent human states can shift random number generators, speed up healing, even influence plant growth at a distance. Not because of magic, but because consciousness, when unified, bends probability. This is what the monks practiced in hidden chambers while empires rose and fell around them. Breath, not prayer, not ritual, but breathe, was the engine of their mastery. So here is your challenge. For the next 7 mornings, wake up 7 minutes earlier. Practice this exact sequence, 4-4-8-2, for 111 breaths, and document everything. Not just big breakthroughs, but the subtle synchronicities, the tiny shifts, the sudden clarity. Because transformation doesn't always come with thunder. Sometimes it whispers through the smallest cracks until suddenly, you realize you're living in a new reality. Comment what you discover. Share what arrives. Because once you feel the rewiring this breath creates, you'll never see your lungs, your mind, or your destiny the same again. The only question that remains is this: are you ready to stop breathing survival and start breathing creation? And when you reach the 111th breath, prepare. Because there is one more secret about what happens in that moment. A secret so sacred the monks swore it could only be revealed in silence.